Hi everyone, welcome back to Kontota Conversations. I'm Dillyn.
And I'm Hoss.
Today's topic is all about the hiring process here at Kontota, how we used to do it in the beginning, how that has evolved over time, and how we do it today. So we'll get started. First question, how is hiring done in the early days and how has it changed?
I think the early days, of course, when you start a new business, you don't know what you're doing. That's the story with every small company when they first start. So when we first started, we had a standard process, have a phone screening and interview someone. And that was pretty much it. So now we have a much more extensive process. We have a 6-step process. The first step is a phone screening where we get on the phone with someone for 10-15 minutes, just ask some fact-finding questions to make sure that's the right fit that we're looking for. And of course, that's the right fit that they're looking for.
Yeah.
After the first step, if they're a good fit, then we set them up for an in-person interview. They usually come into the office, meet with us, and meet them in person and ask more in-depth questions about why are they applying for this job, what got them interested. I think fact-finding questions are critical, not just in hiring, but in sales and everything that we do. Fact-finding questions are critical aspects in making sure you hire the right person. And then after the interview, if that goes well, I'm a strong believer if somebody's a good fit, get him going fast. A lot of companies say hire slow. If someone is a good fit and we know they're going to be a great fit, we hire fast. If that step goes well, then we set them up for a ride along. One of our experienced groomers or whatever job it is, if it's an admin job or a marketing job, they get to spend a day in the life of that department to shadow and make sure this is the right fit. This is a chance for both us as a company and them to evaluate the job and making sure this is a good fit altogether.
Yeah.
And after the ride along, then we, of course, do background check, driving check, and also we ask for references. References are also important. Can they provide 3 references from their prior jobs? Can they provide 3 references from their prior managers that can speak highly about them? If they can't provide that, then that's potentially a red flag. This is our 6-step process. Step 1 is phone screening. Step 2 is an in-person interview. Step 3 is a ride along. Step 4 and 5 are driving check and background check. Step 6 is when we ask them for reference checks.
I'm curious, when you first started the business, when you were hiring the first groomer, what was that process like? Did you just interview them and you were like, okay, you're good to go? Or like, did you have any kind of forethought about, okay, we might need to do like a ride along? That sort of thing.
The first few that we hired, we didn't do a ride along, which was a big mistake. And the first few that we hired, we didn't ask the right questions. We didn't look at one of the most important questions, in my opinion, to ask. Tell me about your last few jobs, how long you stayed at it, and why you left that job to go to your next job. If you don't ask those hard questions, you're not going to, within 5 minutes of interviewing someone, I can tell within 5 minutes if that person is going to be a good fit or not.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I used to sit down and interview for an hour. Now, I keep it short. If somebody is not a great fit, within 5-10 minutes, I cut it short. And the HR manager is pretty much in touch with them after that.
You have a lot more help now with screening and actually going through all the applications. So it's less of a risk.
Correct.
When they finally get to the interview with you, when you first started, you were doing everything. Just you and Samantha.
It was Samantha and I.
So
Samantha and I were doing everything.
Probably spend so long interviewing all these applicants, and then you maybe get one person.
That would be good. And that's fine. We want to find great people and we don't settle for anything less. If we don't find great people, we just wait until we find great people. The worst mistake that a lot of businesses do is they try to hire warm bodies. I'm going to hire someone fast, and anybody that I can convince to come work for me. That's the biggest mistake as a business you can do. Because those guys will not take you to the next level. You always want to look at yourself. Your company is here now. This person that you're going to bring on, is this person going to raise the standards? Or lower the standards? If that person is going to lower the standard, why settle? Like for that?
You don't. But eventually, I think your goal should be to never feel like you have to hold on to somebody if they're not a good fit. You don't want to have one person and nobody else knows how to do any part of their job. Because if that person leaves, then you're scrambling to find somebody who can fill that position. That's why we do a lot of cross training. So people can move around And that helps people be happier here. If they're not a good fit for one position, they can move to a different position. The second question is, what were the biggest hiring challenges at first?
Honestly, I think the hiring challenge when we first started, it was COVID time. So it was tough times getting started in that era. Everything was shut down and the government paid a lot of stimulus money like across the board, which discouraged a lot of people that could have gotten a job to get a job. It was the COVID era.
That, and also people just were not settling because they didn't have to. People were waiting like they could wait and just interview. And so it was a lot easier, which that was definitely good in a lot of ways, but also it made it a lot harder for companies. The competition was a lot higher with the applicants. So.
It was a lot higher, but I guess the biggest challenge was like when we hired someone that wasn't a good fit, we just didn't know any better. That created a massive compounding effect across the team, and that was not good. But now, complete different story. If someone's not a good fit, within a couple of weeks, we know that, and we just amicably part ways. But back in those days, you're starting out, you're naive, you're trying to give everybody a fair chance, and you should give everybody a fair chance. But some people are not fit to do a certain job. They might be a better fit for a different job. So that really the COVID era was a huge actually challenge to hire people. If you're having a hard time hiring great people, then you need to improve as a brand. You need to improve as a company, because great people want to work for great leaders. Great people do not want to work for crappy leaders. You could be a small business starting out with one employee. If you're a great leader, you're going to attract top talents. Quit their current job and starts a new startup. I can promise you they're going to take a lot of people with them because they're a great leader. They can be starting from scratch, but since they're a great leader, they're going to attract a lot of top talents. So even if you don't feel like you're a small business and you cannot hire great people, you have to be big, you have to have a lot of employees. No, just work on yourself. Make sure you're a great leader so you can attract those great talents. You can attract those people. They're going to see your mission, vision. As long as you are a great leader of values, mission, and vision for your company, you can attract top talents. Because the question you need to be asking is, why should someone come work for you? What's in it for them? They're going to come work for you, do this job, these tasks, these responsibilities. But what's in it for them? A lot of companies get too arrogant. Don't ask those questions. Great, you're going to come work for us. We're going to train you. That's good. They need to see what's in it for them. If they come work for Kontota, they get these benefits, not just pay benefit, culturally, career improvement, career progression. They need to see the vision. Otherwise, they can work for anybody else. There are tons of great businesses. So if you want to attract top talent, you want to be a great company, you want to have great leadership in charge, and you're going to automatically attract those things.
People will take giant pay cuts to go work for a different company if they feel like it's not working out at their current company.
We've had multiple people where we brought in here, they took a pay cut to come here because they saw the vision. That's what vision does. When you have great culture, great leadership in place, people will take a pay cut and have a career progression to grow. Those people are great people to hire because they have long-term vision. And that's what you want to hire. You don't want to hire someone with a short-term vision. It's all about, do they have a long vision in their mentality?
Yeah, definitely. The third question, what key qualities do you look for in new hires now versus what was the main thing you were looking for when you first started hiring?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it depends on what role it is, but now we look for leadership. In the past, we would just hire someone with the ability to do the job, but since the company is growing, we need people that are going to take us to the next level. Those people are usually leaders. So we're looking for more leadership roles, not just leadership with titles, but leadership abilities, the ability to lead, the ability to make a difference without having the title initially. Some of the qualities that we look for in general are, of course, we hire based on our values. Safety is number one core value. So we want to make sure people that we hire are safety minded. Number two, we're big on customer satisfaction, customer experience. So we want to hire people who have that servant heart and they are willing to go the extra mile to please the customer. People that are constantly wanting to improve and make things better and evolve us as a company to become better. Number four, people that are accountable. Our fourth core value is accountability. We want to hire people that have the highest level of accountability. Number five, we want to have people that are inspired. people that want to be here, want to improve, want to make things better, want to serve customers. But that comes from inspiration. You have to be inspired to do that. You ask me what kind of qualities we look for, what our core values are, and most importantly, we're looking for leaders. Leaders are people who are going to make other people's success easy. Leaders are people who are going to come in and lead and set an example. They don't even have to have an official title. As long as they're leaders, we have a lot of folks right now, of course, they're going to get like promotion in the next 6 months, but they have those leadership skills.
For sure. And also, I'm curious, if you think back to the first few people that you hired, if they were to apply today, do you think any of them would have made it through the screening process?
Honestly, with all due respect, no.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now and what to look for, those first few people would not have a chance.
It's just also such a different, we're basically a different company. The
Completely.
needs are completely different.
Yep.
The expectations are completely different. And that's not to say that those people aren't somewhere else doing
They
great.
could do better.
When you hire somebody, this goes back to managing expectations during the hiring process. Those people were hired to work for a mobile grooming company with 1 or 2 vans.
Right.
They weren't hired to work for Kontota as it is today.
Yeah.
So it's like a completely different culture.
Yeah.
Even if they might have done well today, they expected to work for that small company, but today we're larger and completely different.
And that's very true. Those people would be great at other places, but knowing what we know now, based on all the hiring mistakes that we've made, we tell our franchisees the same thing too. What kind of red flags to look for, to give them ideas, because we don't want them to make the same mistakes we made when we first started. Those people would be great for different jobs, different opportunities, but here we're a completely different company, and it's just different standards we have now.
That's not to say the first person you hire isn't going to stick around.
Yep.
But more likely they're not going to, just because the standards change. And they also are going to change as a person and want to grow. It's a cyclical process where you have to hire people and then you learn who fits and who doesn't. And you learn what traits to look out for. It's just how it works, really. You have to hire some people who aren't going to work out. And then you know what to look out for in the next round of interviews. And it just keeps going, and the standards just constantly improve. So how has the training process improved over time?
It's improved tremendously. When we first started, we had training, but the training wasn't as good as it is today. And honestly, a year from now, our training will be even better. We're constantly improving it, constantly changing it. We have a platform now called Tranio for full transparency. You can go on Tranio. We have all of our systems and processes step by step in there. When we hire new hires now, the first week was onboarding essentially. We go through extensive onboarding, setting expectations from day one. And they go through all of these modules in Tranio, which includes reading materials, videos, they take quizzes and tests, and that stuff. We have weeks of materials within Tranio that we've developed in-house. We spend a lot of money developing, of course, but those have been tremendous. Help new hires understand the process a lot better. There's no ambiguity. There's complete clarity when we bring somebody on. The training process has completely evolved, and it will continuously, it will continue evolve in the future as well. We have a pretty good training program in place right now, but we can make it better. We're going to constantly make it better, add more things, and even remove some of the things that are outdated as we grow. So it's going to be a constantly evolving training process.
The quality level is so different now. When we have new groomers that just come out of training and start serving customers on their own, they're getting 5-star reviews immediately. Where before, I mean, I think we were getting a lot more fix-ups and complaints about the haircut quality, stuff like that. But that's just part of the process. As a small business, you have to make those mistakes so you can learn from them. We always try to do right by our customers, of course, increasing the time that they have to be in training. Like their trial week, adding another week to the trial week, those things have made a big difference in the quality of our new hires. The biggest thing is not even the technical part of learning how to do the haircut, because most of these haircuts we do are a variety of the same base haircut. I think it's building their confidence. It's like a mental thing, giving them extra time to really make sure they know what they're doing. That is really what is most important with the new training process we have.
Absolutely. Providing more intensive training and giving them an opportunity to apply those things on their own during those trial weeks, huge difference. I mean, we have like groomers graduating, after a couple months being in training.
Yeah.
And they do a very quality jobs with 5-star reviews. Even some of them get 5-star reviews during training.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Definitely.
amazing. And that shows today, it's just how you train someone.
Yeah.
Your business has to be a school for all of your employees. And that's a concept that a lot of business owners neglect and don't want to invest in. Training is expensive, but how else are you going to grow a company? You want to train, you want to have systems and processes in place where people come in and learn. If you don't provide that opportunity, and if you're just looking for experience only, then what's the point?
Right.
Like with us, we have a complete different mindset. We will train you. I mean, people are shocked when they hear we actually train, but we provide 2 months of full training. Is it expensive? Of course it is. But it's an investment in someone's future. All we ask for is commitment, making sure that they're actually committed. We don't mind investing money in people as long as they're committed. If you want to attract top talents, invest in your people. It doesn't matter, maybe conferences, classes, just invest. Don't be afraid to invest in your people. Right. And when you invest in your people, that builds loyalty. People are going to trust you more. It builds loyalty that, hey, these guys have spent thousands of dollars training me. They're going to have more loyalty to you as a brand, as a company, versus someone who's just looking for experience. So that's critical. So don't be afraid as a company to invest in your people. Your company needs to be a school for your employees. If you want to grow and scale, which is what we hope all of our franchisees do, you want to invest in your people, you want to train them, you want to provide that opportunity.
Yeah, all these big companies, look at any large company like Apple, Microsoft, Google, they're constantly doing training and professional development for their employees.
Yep.
There's a reason for that. And there's a reason that those large companies continue to do that because they know how valuable it is. But I also wanted to mention one thing about our training process that's important is the fact that it's flexible.
Yeah.
We provide 2 months of training. That is like the average amount of time that someone would spend in training within reason. If someone needs a little extra time to learn or build their confidence, they don't quite feel ready to go out on their own yet, we give them that extra time, especially if there's potential in that person, if they really care about doing a good job. That doesn't necessarily mean they aren't a good fit. Some people just need a little extra time to build that confidence in themselves. So I think even like some of the best groomers we have, they spend a little extra time in training and they're better for it when they finally go out on their own.
Just give them time. If they need more than a couple months of training, it goes back to the confidence issues. They know what they're doing. They can do it, but they have lack of confidence to do it. In that case, you just want to have someone building their confidence. That's why we have a coaching system in our company. We have coaches supporting everyone, supporting the new hires, supporting the existing folks. These coaches are there to be a support system for everyone, to help them in training, to help them after training, to help them build their confidence.
People aren't robots, so you can't assume that everybody is going to learn at the same pace or the same way as everybody else. Obviously, we have guidelines for training, like they're supposed to learn this thing on this day and this thing on this day. For the most part, our trainings do follow that. I think it's important that we also allow that flexibility. So the next question, what major insights led to changes in hiring and training? So what were the key points where you realized, wow, we need to change how we're doing this because it's just not going great?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing that any company should look for is attrition. How many employees, and attrition is defined very simply as how many employees you lose. So if you have 100 employees, you lose 10 people out of 100, that's 10% attrition, right?
Yeah.
When we first started, we're not doing good on attrition. A lot of businesses struggle with that, but we're struggling with attrition because we don't have a good training and processes in place. Since we changed that, the attrition is a lot better now. I mean, we've improved tremendously compared to what it used to be, which is great. Now we have better systems in place, better processes in place, better training program in place, better opportunities to grow. And as a result, we're a different company now.
2 years ago, we have no organizational structure in place.
Yep.
And so everybody We had some percentage increase, like raise in place if they've been here a certain amount of time, but there was no
Career progression.
But there was no career progression for any of the groomers.
Yeah.
Some of them would do training also, but that wasn't an official raise for doing this. So I think that's a big part of it too, is having that clear structure in place. That way, when you hire people, you can show them and be like, if you stick around, this is where you could go with your career here if you want to. You could be a manager or a leader in this department, or you can move over to here. You could learn this and this. And that goes back to the whole what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Why should somebody work for you?
Yeah. If you don't have a big vision for your company, if you don't have like career progression for your employees, they're going to go somewhere where they have that. It's important to understand this. You have to grow. You have to scale. There's no other way around it. I cannot sit here and tell my folks this is going to be there's so much opportunities to grow here, and I have one truck, one van.
Yeah.
It's just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
For us as a company to provide those opportunities, we have to grow, we have to scale. And it has to be organic scale. You don't have to go crazy and bankrupt the company by scaling too fast, but you have to have growth. You have to have healthy growth, at least 10% a year.
Yeah.
If you can do 30% a year, even better. You want to grow as a company. And with that growth, you're going to need people to manage and lead. And with that kind of mindset, you're going to be able to provide opportunities for people that want to grow to the next level.
Just make sure that your employees know that you're growing too.
Yeah.
You got to talk to them and be like, hey, this is how much we grew this past year. This is what's in store for the future. That way they're incentivized to stick around. If they're in the same position for 2 years and they have heard nothing about any future progression, they're probably already looking for another job. That's another thing, being transparent and open with your team about where the company's going. The next question is, how do you make sure new hires fit Kontota's culture?
Values, core values. We hire and terminate based on core values.
Yeah.
If someone has a core same values that we have as a company, which are safety, customer satisfaction, continuous improvement, accountability, inspiration, you hire and terminate based on values. I think when people get hired and trained, when they go on their own to service customers, it's pretty easy. If the customers are happy or not, we get immediate feedback. In this industry, you go service a customer, you get feedback immediately.
Right.
So we would know immediately if the training was a success or a failure. Yeah. We have a system of getting feedback every single day from every single job. And that automation is set up.
There's been instances where we send people out after training and they don't do a great job. So put them back in training and just stay a little extra time, and that's okay. But we can get that immediate feedback. The customer's going to know right away whether they like it or not. We're going to know if that groomer was able to comprehend all the steps they need to do to make that customer happy. What advice would you give to other business owners or people who want to start a business on hiring and training?
Your business should be a school for your employees. So don't be afraid to train your people. Don't be afraid to train. And listen, this idea of, oh, I don't have time to train, I don't have the resources to train, I don't have the money to train. Develop those resources. If you want your company to grow, develop those training resources and processes and systems. Don't be afraid in investing in your people. That's number one. And as far as hiring, always hire based on your values, your company. You need to have clear core values defined. You hire based on those values. If your first value is safety and someone is not a safe person, then you don't hire that person. If your core value is customer satisfaction and someone has a crappy attitude, why would you hire that person for a customer service job? So you just hire based on your core values of your company. And when you do that, you're going to go far. And also, when you find a talent, don't just sit on it for weeks and months. Great talents have opportunities. When we spot a great talent, we set them up for ride-along the same day. Literally, during my interview, I set them up for a ride-along on that day. After the ride-along, we do the background check and all those things, then we hire them immediately, send them an offer letter. Hire fast, and also terminate fast. If someone is not a good fit, move on. Don't just sit on them. My advice to you is, we have terminated some folks in the past. I wish them best of luck. But I have not regretted a single termination. If somebody is not a good fit, it's okay to part ways with them. It's okay to move on. That person could not be a good fit for this job, but they could be a good fit for other jobs.
Yeah, sometimes you have a great employee, but they're just not a great fit for your specific job or company.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, or if you have the opportunities to put them in a different department, different role, and think they would succeed. But if you don't have those opportunities, just wish them the best of luck and for their next career.
I know a lot of business owners probably will feel bad about firing people, and that's okay. Everybody who has ever left a job, I'm sure there are some people who maybe regret leaving their job, but I think in most cases, they're way happier because their next opportunity they get is way better. If you are unhappy with that person working for you, they are probably unhappy working for you also. Some people are risk averse and scared of trying to move on and find a new job. Sometimes that needs to be the push to be like, hey, it's really not working out here. You can find something that's a better fit for you. So thinking about it that way instead of just, oh, you're firing them and like ruining their life and they don't have a job anymore. And like Hoss said, you can help them find another job. I think that's something that companies don't do enough. Maybe they're not a good fit for your company now, but what if they go off and work other jobs for 10 years? Maybe in 10 years, they'll be a wonderful addition to your company. So try to avoid burning those bridges when you can. Obviously, sometimes it's necessary to do that, but understanding that they're also a human with feelings and it's not just, oh, we cut ties. That'll go a long way. It just helps with the reputation of your company. If you treat people bad, no matter what stage they're in, whether you're just hiring them, interviewing, working for you, or when you're letting them go, that's going to reflect on your company, who wants to work for you.
Nobody should be surprised that they're getting fired. There needs to be a verbal warning, written warning. Nobody should be surprised that, oh my God, I got fired today out of nowhere. That should never happen. If you're one of those leaders, they're going to just go out there and fire someone without any kind of notice. Hey, I need you to improve on these things. Give them a chance to improve. Verbal warning, written warning. You got to follow the correct process. That's the right way to do it. A lot of these business owners, they get pissed off and they fire someone on the spot, and that's a terrible way of doing business. You want to provide someone an opportunity to correct themselves, to fix themselves, and sometimes if you coach someone and guide them, they'll either fix it and do better, or if they don't care enough, they won't.
And sometimes it's just like a life thing going on too. Sometimes it's not even that they are bad at their job. Sometimes it's just they're having a hard time, and if you give them that chance and talk to them about it, chances are they're going to be fine.
It makes a huge difference. Be fully transparent and have an open conversation. Have those difficult conversations. There's nothing wrong. A lot of business owners are afraid to have a difficult conversation. Tell them, these are the expectations. What's going on? How can I help you? And then if that doesn't work out, honestly, in 99% of the cases, they don't want to be here anyway. So you're doing them the biggest service to just parting ways with them and helping them with their next career.
That was all my questions.
All right.
Do you have anything else you wanted to?
Really, the only thing is that I think we talked about it, just hire and terminate based on your values. Make sure you have a big, audacious goal, a vision for your company where it says, why should someone come work for you? What's in it for them? As opposed to just what's in it for me. And make sure you have career development for all your employees to grow. And the only way to do it is you have to scale and grow as a company. Otherwise, you can't provide all those opportunities.
Right.
That's all right. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel.